Bitcoin, yes, everybody wants to talk Bitcoin because it's all about money. Everybody wants to make money. I've been putting together a tweet storm on how to make money. And I haven't gotten very far in it. Well, I actually wrote the outlines of my tweet storm on how to make money because I thought it would be doing the world a service, but I know a lot of people will pick at it, will attack it. So it's been a difficult one to write. Yeah, Bitcoin and crypto is a revolution. I'll say that, I really only got into it in a big way last year, and decided to just go all in terms of my thought process and time on it. But once you figure it out, it's hard to think about anything else. It's hard to think that there's any other thing that's going on that's as important. Now, of course, it's probably not true. It's a big and complicated world, and there's lots and lots of important things going on. But anyone who's interested in the intersection of politics, economics, technology, finance, will just find cryptocurrencies and blockchains to be this really interesting rabbit hole. I think humans have created something that's larger than ourselves. It's sort of like when we first invented markets. And so, when you invent something that big, it's hard for anyone to figure out how it works. So we are all now collectively trying to figure out how to describe it and what its properties are. And it almost feels like this organism larger than ourselves that we're all working on co-evolving. So yeah, maybe I should be looking at the camera. Any stylistic feedback is welcome, by the way. It's my first time on Periscope. Yeah, someone's talking about like human networks and blockchains, and U.S. government will do regulations around crypto. I think of governments and crypto as sort of the final boss. Like when the major governments of the world sort of realize what crypto is capable of, I think there's a number of them that are going to reject it in a big way. And I don't think we've seen that yet. We've seen the Chinese crackdown, but we haven't seen the Western governments yet struggling with crypto. I think when that happens is when we're going to find out how powerful the crypto revolution really is, whether it can sustain. Gary Tan just retweeted this. I'm in trouble now. Hey, Gary. Hi, Gary. I'm doing the opposite of what Scott Adams does in Periscope. He gets up early in the morning and he drinks coffee and talks about politics, and I'm going to be up late at night and I'm going to drink tea and talk about everything but politics. Although, to the wise, crypto is a form of politics. I wish I could put Gary up here side by side. Gary Tan just joined. Then we could do kind of like a joint little fireside chat. Oh, these are the Apple AirPods. I love these. I think these are the best product that Apple has made since the original iPhone. If you can afford it, I strongly encourage you to get them. They stay in my ear really well. They're good for working out. They're good for jogging. They're literally indispensable. I've bought and given away 10 pairs to friends of mine. Yeah, so how will the government interfere? I think the Trump administration is actually very deregulatory. As far as I remember, they haven't filled 2 out of the 5 slots on the SEC commission, and they have that deregulation mandate where they basically say for every regulation you enforce, you basically have to, or you roll out, you have to roll back 2. And so I think that's keeping the SEC in a very laissez-faire sort of mentality, and I think everyone in crypto should be pretty happy about that. Now, there's a lot of scams going on and a lot of pumps and ICOs, and that's pretty disgusting and could be bad when there's a fallout. But overall, it's better than having someone who's cracking down big time on crypto. Telegram is a really tough one. I do not have the technical capability to vet it. I would just say that it seems incredibly ambitious. It's really high priced, and I've never loved Telegram, the product, because even though they talk about encryption, their crypto code is closed source, it's not open source, which is really how crypto code should be, especially when people's lives are depending on it. And their group chats are unencrypted, at least on their server side. So I'm not a big fan of that one. Obviously, they have 180 million users, which is hard to argue with, and they've had sort of a crack engineering team that's executed on Telegram, the product. But I think caveat emptor on that one. Sorry, I'm jumping around everywhere. Oh yeah, someone was asking about what the governments will do about crypto. I think the U.S. government may eventually end up rolling out a FACTA equivalent. FACTA is like you have to file if you have a foreign bank account. So they might do an equivalent of like turn over your cards in crypto, where you sort of have to declare what you have. And I think that could be a come to Jesus moment for a lot of people. But overall, I think Western governments will have a very difficult time dealing with it until eventually we start making the transition to taxing people on consumption and on land and property and things like that, as opposed to taxing them on income and wealth, which are going to become much harder to track over time. What if you don't use exchanges in terms of getting tracked? Yeah, I mean, I think some of the things that people don't realize about crypto is it doesn't have to have value to everybody. Even if there's a small percentage of people in the world, you're welcome. Even if there's a small percentage of people in the world who really, really believe in it, and you can go and you can use it as a store of value with them anytime, then it's valid. It doesn't need to be something that is only it only works if it's shared with everybody. Sorry if I'm tripping up. It's kind of hard to follow all the comments, plus like see who's on and look at all the questions and talk. But it's actually fascinating. This is great. Yeah, it's my first day on Periscope. Yeah, someone's asking